Have you ever wondered how your horse experiences emotion and how your horse's emotion, how the way that he feels, plays a role in when you ride and when you train him? As a trainer, I think about this a lot, and in today's video, we're going to look at just some basic information that science gives us that may give us a few clues about what our horse does feel. I'm Callie, and you're watching my weekly video show here at CRK Training. And the topic for today's video came out of something that I've been focusing on in a book that I've been reading. It's called Arcology of Mind, The Neuroevolutionary Origins of Human Emotion. It's written by Dr. Jack Panksepp and Lucy Biven, and I've been following Dr. Panksepp's work for some time. Basically, he looks at doing work on animals to better understand human emotion, but I feel like his work gives us so much insight into the animal mind as well. So I'd like to share some of what I've learned with you today in this video. Here's the main points that we're going to be covering. First, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the basic structure of the brain, and then we're going to see how that relates to maybe some differences between humans and our horses. And then I'm going to go over the 7 main emotional systems and, most importantly, how we can think about relating these to different training situations. So starting here, this is a graphic design of a human brain, but this gives us just the basic theory of the triune brain. And basically what this says is kind of looking at how the brain has evolved over time. So it starts with the reptilian complex, which is the brain stem, and parts of the brain that just control our basic bodily functions and automatic responses. And then it goes to the limbic system, and this is kind of the interesting part in relating to our horses because the limbic system controls emotion. And science has gotten more and more advanced in being able to really tell actually what parts of the brain are triggered by certain emotions, kind of what parts of the brain, what structures are involved with when we feel certain ways or when animals feel certain ways. So that's the limbic system. Sometimes that's also called the midbrain, or it's also called the mammalian brain because we do share it with other mammals. And then we have the neocortex. The neocortex is very big, developed in humans. It's why we have such a large brain to body ratio. And the neocortex allows us to think into the future, to think into the past, to think more cognitively, and to have a more cognitive type of problem-solving skill set. So next I just have a picture of a human versus a horse brain. So one of the interesting things is the cerebellum, which is very involved in movement patterns, is this structure right here. And you can see in relation to the overall brain size, it's so much smaller for us humans. In the horse, this is the cerebellum, so it's so much larger to the overall brain size. And one of the reasons for that is as humans, we have these big frontal lobes and much more developed neocortex. The horse is smaller, but we both share that limbic system. So I also have, I couldn't resist pulling this off of the internet and sharing it. It's just a cute little graphic of a dog training class and illustrating that the prefrontal cortex is involved in the higher mental functioning, like remembering, like using the can opener and remembering to feed. I couldn't resist putting that in there. So these are the main emotional systems as identified by Dr. Panksepp. So we have caretaking, we have play, seeking, grief or panic, lust, fear, and rage. So these are not necessarily all positive or negative emotion, but some of them you can see would have more of a positive connotation, such as caretaking, play, and seeking. But what I really want you to think about this in regards to our horse and to riding and training is how when we are doing different things, we may want our horse to be in a different kind of emotional state of mind. So for example, when we're training, when we're teaching something new, we'd like to have the horse in the seeking state. So we want them looking for the right answer, trying to figure out what we want, and seeking how to get a reinforcement, whether we're using a release of pressure or whether we're maybe training with food or with scratches and we're using a positive reinforcement. But if the horse is really in a seeking mode, and maybe with the seeking mode they're in more of an elevated, just general arousal state, like they're a little bit more excited as they're looking for the right answer, that could be great if we're in the arena and we're teaching the horse how to pick up the canter on the lunge line, or if we're teaching an exercise like targeting, or even if maybe we're schooling our lead changes. We want to have more energy and more of an elevated seeking state. However, if we're up in the barn and we just want our horse to stand still and relax as we're grooming, we don't necessarily want to have that same state of mind. There, we want to just have a relaxed state of mind. In fact, if we're grooming, perhaps it maybe even puts the horse in kind of a little bit more of this range of the caretaking, where it's social bonding. So as we do different things with our horses, we need to have different emotional states, and we need to have different levels of kind of excitement and engagement from the horse in order to have the best response and the best learning from the horse in that context. So how I want to encourage you to start using this is really being an observer of your horse and paying attention to what emotional state you think they might be in. And this isn't about anthropomorphizing and assigning human feelings or human thoughts to your horse, but instead it's just about noticing. So think about next time with your horse, just notice even their face, the lines around their face. Facial tension, especially if they have a lot of tension around their eyes, if they have a lot of tension around their nostrils, two easy places to see it, can be indicative of anxiety. It can be indicative of even pain. Overall body tension, the way that the horse is standing, can give you some clues. How still they are versus how much movement they want to have can give you some clues onto what kind of emotional state they might be in. The next time that you're with your horse, just pay attention to how your horse is responding and what emotional state you think they might be in. I'd love for you to leave a comment and think back to the last time that maybe you were riding or that you were with your horse. And in the comments down below, put first what you were doing, any little kind of physical cues or behavioral cues that you noticed about your horse, and maybe how they responded to your interaction with them. And then how you think that might relate to one of these emotional states. So I really look forward to seeing your comments, and I also want to invite you to join me in the free workshop that's coming up from the Balanced Riding course. So in this free workshop, we're actually going to be going deeper on kind of the psychology of riding, both for people, how to think about improving your own riding, some of the insights that will help you understand why riding can seem difficult, but little learning hacks that'll make it a lot easier for you. And then also understanding how to better communicate with your horse, how horses learn, and how to kind of interpret and understand horse behavior better. So that workshop is going to be starting soon. There's a link down below where you can sign up to join in, and I will see you back in the next video.